Welcome to this PTC Creo Cabling Design Enhancements presentation. What I have here is just a simple assembly, and what I've done is I've already imported some logical data from Creo schematics. My task now is to route the cables. So what I'm going to do is just select route cables. Now the system is a smooth flow, so what this means is even though I'm in the route cables command, the system knows that I have some components that haven't been designated yet. So when I select yes to designate the components, the Route Cables tool will pause and allow me to designate my components. You can see here that this component is currently missing. So when I choose Assemble, the system will go and search my working directory, my search paths, and Windchill. And when it finds a component, it will put it into my assembly like we see here. Once I've assembled the component, it automatically designates within the designation tool. Once I choose OK, the designation tool will stop and the Route Cables tool will renew itself. To route the cables, I can do two things. I can either find all the data in the logical XML, like so, or what I can do is just simply select on a component and it'll find me all the wires that are attached to that component. Because I can see the path of the wires, I know where the majority of the wires are going, so I can concentrate on how I want to route the wires rather than where I'm routing the wires to. Now again, what I can do is I can use the smooth flow. So I can pause the route tool and start the route network tool. And what I'm going to do is just simply route a network along this axis. If I select on an axis, I can choose right click and along, and that'll place a location at each end of the axis. If I just select an axis, then it'll just put a location where I chose on the axis. We'll continue to select the rest of the axes. I can very quickly route my network. I can also right click and choose new segment. So just choose another location, select a surface, and at any point I can select the drag handle, drag it around, and then continue with my routing. If I want to change any of the locations, I can go to my dashboard, select on any of the locations, and then just edit the location. And once I'm happy, I can then commit to my network. Now that I've routed my network, I can then resume back to my Route Cables dialog. I can choose via network because I now have a network, and I can see that the wires are now routed via the network. I can select the wires within the Route Cables dialog, and I can find which ones I'm not happy with. So for example, wire 3 and 5, I'm not happy with the path, so what I'm going to do is just simply remove them for now. I'm happy with the rest of the wires, so I'm just going to commit to them. Now what we can see here is the wires have taken a shortest path to the components. Now what I can do is I can select these two wires, right click and choose Reroute. A path highlights and as do the locations, and I select the start location and then the to location, and the wires will quickly reroute through those locations. Now for the wires I didn't want to route earlier, I can go back to my Route Cables dialog, choose Find and choose Route wires for 3 and 5. Select them. What I can do is just simply choose Follow Cable and just say I want to follow this cable here, and I want to follow it from this location here all the way round to this end location here. The two wires follow that cable, and very quickly I've got those additional 2 wires in. Now what we have on this component here is some certain parameters. If you don't use logical data, then what you can do is apply parameters to the coordinate systems of the parts. So all I need to do is turn on my coordinate systems, select this coordinate system here, and you'll see that I've got 4 parameters. Entry port, which is a yes/no parameter. This is saying that this coordinate system is actually an entry port and should be used by cabling design. The grouping is your normal round wire or flat grouping. The internal length is obviously the amount of wire that's going to go inside the component from the coordinate system and add it to your logical length data. And the pins, you can associate a number of pins if you've got a single coordinate system, or the pin number just for that single coordinate system. Now because you've got those parameters, when you go to route a new wire, let's pick 2 new wires here, and the first wire I want to go from this component here. Now because I've got those parameters set, I can choose right click and allow undesignated coordinate system. Choose an entry port. The system says, okay, I know what it is. Do you want to designate it? Yes, I do. That coordinate system is now designated. So the next location, I can just simply choose to this guy here. and again it jumps on my network and takes that path. When I choose apply, all I've got to do now is route the next wire. Now, because the component has been designated, I don't need to see my coordinate systems, because all I need to do is select the component. It will list all the coordinate systems that have been designated, and when I drag over them, they will highlight. Once I select the coordinate system I'm interested, I can choose Done Select, and then for my 2, I can just choose the component again, Entry, and Done Select. And very quickly, I've got the wires routed. So the other enhancement we've made is the ability to show the names of the wires in the model tree. So this allows for very quick identification. And then finally, what we're going to do is just take this wire here, and we're just going to insert some additional locations. And all I'm going to do is just add these 2 locations here. Now, because I've got these 2 additional locations, what I'm going to do now is just go to the wire, select the wire, and choose Fix Overall Length. So I'm going to just fix the overall length of the entire wire. The current length is 28, so let's make this 29, and notice that the additional length is applied to the rest of the wire. Now, if I go back to any of these locations and choose Edit Definition, notice that I get a preview. If I drag the wire and it exceeds the length, notice that I get a warning triangle. This warning triangle tells me that the wire cannot be regenerated, and this is because I'm violating the maximum length. This concludes this very quick overview of the enhancements in PTC Creo cabling design.